was weird. All right, and I am going to share my screen. It's been a while since I've done this, so I am really happy that I'm with people that I know, love, and trust. And okay, here we go. Slideshow, from beginning. All right, and now I'm going to turn my camera off, stop my video. All right, so this is the 5 Steps to Love Yourself challenge. And I know we're full of challenges these days from other groups, and they're like, we're going to do a clear skin challenge. We're going to do a better booty challenge, whatever. But this is a little different. And as I go through this, I think you'll see that. So first of all, I want to welcome you all here and ask you where you're from. So if you are comfortable with opening your microphone and sharing, I'm along the Minnesota-Iowa border. And Beatrice, where are you from?
I'm in Florida right now, but I have never felt that I am from Florida. I'm just visiting here right now.
There you go. That's right. My body is residing in.
My mind is someplace else. Very good. My body is here.
That's right.
My body is residing in Florida, North Central Florida.
There you go. How about you, Jan? Would you like to share? Is she there?
Yes.
Well, yes.
Sorry. I'm in Utah today, and I like being today in Utah. We've got great weather. So
Yeah.
I'm just outside enjoying the weather. I'm in the mountains in central Utah.
Yay. I have 2 boys, one that lives in Salt Lake City. He is just a couple of blocks from the Salt Lake City Temple. And then my son and daughter-in-law and daughter or granddaughter are in Tooele.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
more chances to travel and visit people.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Utah's beautiful in the summer. And in the winter too, if you like to ski in the winter.
Exactly. So. They had a lot of snow this year.
Oh, we had so much snow. So yes, it was glorious. We're going to be able to have great gardens this fall because we are actually a desert area. So it's lovely to have all this water.
Yeah, exactly. And we get a little bit of flood.
Oh, you cut out. You still there?
It's Mercury retrograde.
Yeah. Are you there, Lynn?
So I can't hear you, Lynn.
Yeah, I can't either. I can hear you, Beatrice.
Well, we can have a nice conversation then.
Yeah.
Take notes on. And then if you have questions, if it's a short question, please feel free to put it in the chat or open your microphone to share that with us. Otherwise, I have made sure there's a time of Q&A afterwards. All right. So I want you to know that my intention for this presentation is to help you have this moment to feel yourself, to be present with yourself and all the emotions and feelings that go with it. Because everyone has a hack or a method for the best way to care for yourself. But in this wild and crazy world, it can be hard to find something that works just for you. So those moments of true self-care and self-love are vital. I feel the word self-care has been bandied about enough. So I really appreciated more self-love. You have this time to love yourself. And these moments, they're what keep you grounded and functioning when it feels like everything is coming apart at the seams. And this is really vitally important that you know the importance of taking that breath, of feeling yourself in your body. Self-love looks different for everyone, but there are some key components that you can incorporate into your daily routine to make the most of those moments in your day. So starting a self-love routine can be isolating. It can feel like you're out on your own, you're trying to carve out time for yourself in the midst of everything else that's going on. So instead of constantly giving away pieces of your time and effort to serve others, which is a noble and valiant thing, this focus on your self-love is also about boosting your own well-being. Taking care of other people is great, but not at the sacrifice of taking care of yourself. It is okay to take care of yourself. Let's see here. Oh, I dropped out a bit. I just got a message here that says I dropped out for the bulk of the last bit. So if somebody wants to tell me what was the last thing they heard, I can go back to that.
Shoot, I don't remember.
Okay. I'll just go back here for a moment. Because
Lynn, you don't need to repeat the whole thing. You were fine from the beginning of the presentation. You dropped out when we were introducing ourselves.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So the whole presentation is good. You can just edit it from the presentation on.
That's what, I'm not going to edit it because this is real life, right? And my grandkids are out right now visiting somebody and they may come in. And you know what? That is real life. And so right now I'm taking this moment while they're not here to be with you and to enjoy this fellowship that I have with all of you that are here and that may be listening to this recording. And we don't need to edit that. It's perfectly imperfect. Because like I said, I'm taking this time, I've carved out this time for me and you. And I'll have that time later to give to them, but I'm taking care of myself. I'm filling myself up right now, so I'm better able to take care of them. So this class and this guide is for you to kickstart your own self-love routine. We're here surrounded by others that are on the same journey, and you're doing this, you're able to take advantage of the support and coaching from this team of experts that we are, because we are all experts on this. You are your own best expert in your own life, and you share that expertise with the rest of us. So there's no time like the present to learn a new routine, create some self-love in your life, and find that passion again. So, let's back up a little bit. What is self-love? The term self-love, self-care, they're thrown around a lot these days. And for most people, it means maybe taking that bubble bath and just hoping for the best, hoping for a moment that you can even fill up the bathtub, whether it be bubble bath or Epsom salts or essential oils. But there's a lot more that goes into true self-love than a bubble bath. Loving yourself goes so much deeper than just that one-off kind of throwaway, isolated incident or action. It goes right to the heart of loving and accepting yourself fully, all your perceived flaws and all. And I say that perceived flaws and all. So within this concept, you treat yourself with kindness and continue to nurture your overall well-being and eventual growth. This is really, really important, this part right here. You are important. You are worthy. You are loved. And just take a moment to feel that, to feel into yourself and notice, how am I feeling as I hear Lynn say these things? You know, I say treat yourself with kindness. Is that what you're feeling? So just take that moment and hear what your own spirit, your own body is saying. So instead of simply focusing on your actions, self-love recenters your attention on your thoughts and feelings about yourself. As we age, as we get older, we often start to see our mistakes and poor choices as the essence of our being. I'm going to say that again. As we get older, as we move along on the calendar, we start to see all these things, the only ifs, that type of thing. We start to see them as who we are. This is important to also take in. So rather than focus on those simple but maybe troublesome feelings and emotions, self-love teaches your mind to focus on the truth, on the true and good things that make up you. You know, we all have things that we look at and go, well, today I might have made a different choice, but you know what? You didn't. And that's okay. Those choices you made bring you here in all your wonderful glory. It's okay. So why does this even matter? Why does it matter if we love ourselves? Have this self-love. Discounting self-love seems to come naturally to most of us, especially women. After all, it's hard to see a direct correlation between our random, unhelpful thoughts and daily life. All right? So I'll say that again. It's hard to see a direct correlation between these thoughts we might have, this not so loving thoughts about ourselves and our daily life. So you wake up in the morning and, you know, at least for me, my first thought is, what can I do for myself? My first thought is, who do I need to take care of? Now, that's not a bad thing, but maybe I need to say, hey, do I have everything within me to help take care of other people? And so as we're going through our life and we're doing these actions, we're on this treadmill, we may not be thinking, hey, I'm on the treadmill and I'm walking, I'm doing okay. No, we're probably going, I'm not running fast enough. I'm not walking fast enough. I'm not wearing the right uniform or anything like that. Those are not helpful. So changing the way you think and feel about yourself has a huge impact on every area of your life. So not only does true self-love change the way you see yourself, but it also changes the way you see others. Okay? How you feel is often projected onto others. If you're feeling patient and kind to yourself, that will translate to how you treat your family and your friends and your coworkers. We don't often look at it that way. We might think first of treating others with kindness, and then maybe some of it drips back onto us. But oftentimes I have noticed myself, I might feel a little resentful. Sure, I get to do all these things for them. Nobody's doing anything for me. And that they feel that. So instead of, it's like, look at my own self and say, how am I feeling about this day and the people around me? If I am not feeling especially compassionate, then it's okay to take a step back and go, then how can I love myself more? Because feeling low about yourself can often push you to tear others down, to showcase your own strength. And, you're trying to feel good again. You have this sense of, okay, now I'm in control. And so I get to tell other people these things. And so that's not always healthy, because then boundaries get stepped on all over the place. Loving yourself well erases this need, and you can interact better with others. So how does practicing self-love impact your life? There are three main areas in which practicing self-love impacts your daily life: physical, mental, and emotional health. Each area fans out and impacts other areas of both your life and the life of those around you. If you're taking care of yourself, your body is in a good place to help others. If I'm taking care of myself, I'm not tired. I'm not ornery. I want to be there. I can run around after the kids. I can pick things up. I can remember things. If I'm taking care of myself and I'm in a good and happy mood, that makes it easier for everybody else too. So remember, true self-love spreads from your life into the lives of others, and you start to make a more significant impact throughout your community, throughout your family, your friends, everywhere. Because before you can pour into others, you have to build up and pour into your own life. So physical health. So many different areas of your life are linked to the way you view yourself, including better immune function and improved relaxation. Spending time focusing on your self-love can lower your blood pressure based on breathing exercises and relaxation techniques. This can help your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your gut health, everything, because you're taking a moment, it's just a moment, to notice your breath. Where am I breathing? Is it shallow? Is it deep? Where is it at? How does it feel? just a moment. That's all it takes, just a moment. So with the renewed focus on yourself, you might also find that you might have a higher level of motivation. You know, oh, I have to make something healthy. I have to make a smoothie. I have to make a juice. I have to make a salad. I have to go exercise. I have to go meditate. But if you understand how important this is to you and to everybody else around you, this gives you, it boosts, it ramps up your sense of motivation. It's not, it may be, and it may not be like a rocket ship. It might be more like a step stool. It's like, you know what? Today I'm motivated to drink my water. I might even squeeze some lemon in it. But there is motivation, there is movement. So instead of beating yourself up for workouts you might miss or points in your day where you've strayed from the path, you dig deep to get back on the right path. This is alignment. I often say you didn't fall off the wagon, you chose to get off that wagon, which is fine because you were wondering what's over here in this other wagon. You got off the path because you wanted to see what's over in that other path. It's all okay. But once you become aware, then you can start being curious. I wonder what's back on that other path that I was on before. And so you make another choice. So this is the right path for you at this time, in this moment. Your path may be different than mine. It might be different than anybody else in your family, but that's okay. You can still love yourself and them as they discover their paths. Many times when you hear people saying they're doing some self-care or some self-love, people go, and they think of it as a weakness, as a fluffy thing to do, something of no substance. But in reality, this is what's important because it boosts your inner strength, your sense of you. It strengthens your boundaries. It helps you understand you as your essential self. So instead of wasting your time and energy on beating yourself up, which you're allowed to do, that's what you really want to do, that's your choice. The more you focus on yourself in this positive manner, what is best for you, who you are, loving yourself there, you start getting the motivation to get out and up and do something different. So mental health. Much of self-love is focused on your mind and your thoughts. And this self-love greatly impacts your mental health. Changing the course of those thoughts takes time and no small amount of effort, but the path is worth every hard-won moment. You know, mental health generally has to do with the brain. And you probably have heard about the gut-brain connection. So this is where, again, where physical health is so important because it helps you with your mental health. It helps you as you rewire your brain, create new pathways with neuroplasticity. It helps you as you, with the neurotransmitters, as you heal them. They're learning more and more how the brain isn't just once something's ruined, it's ruined. That's not true. The brain, though, is like your processor in your computer. It takes events that happened in the past and helps you look at them in a different way. And so the more events you give your brain to look at that are positive, the more that's going to help you as you move along in your life. So it's easy to find yourself mired in negative thoughts and feelings on a daily basis, especially if you don't take time for yourself regularly. If you watch any news, read any paper, it's just swirling around us. We are in chaos. And that's why it's especially important at this point in time that we connect with who we are in our own sense of the divine, because that's what's going to help you, because we have this swirling mass of negativity around us. Jesus Christ was very well known for getting up early in the morning, taking his walks, and saying his prayers. So it's important to take time for yourself regularly. Those same emotions can pull you deeper into a spiral and make you feel like there's no way out. This is why you need a new mindset based on true self-love in every area of your mental health. The benefits are without end. So when issues and trials come your way, a healthier mindset and mental health state make it easier to deal with these problems. As you face trials in your own mind, it becomes simpler to deal with and help someone else. It once again goes back to, where's your breath? Am I in my body? How am I feeling? Problems will happen. Things happen. And you can get to a point where you're just like, oh, that just happened. And it's not a problem. It just happened. I am here. I am in my body. And I know everything is working for my best and highest good. And when you can do that, then you can hold space for somebody else so they can do it. Which leads us to emotional health. Your emotions can feel out of control at times. Even when things seem to be going your way, emotions are energy in movement. So if you are not sure where your breath even is, it's hard to feel where that energy is, how to track that energy. And when that happens, the slightest issue or trial can feel like it's wrecked your whole day. Everything seems to balance on a knife's edge when your emotional health is out of balance and lacking in true self-love. True self-love, the truth of who you are. You're the breath that moves within you. This breath that helps you track this energy flowing through you. That really helps you see the truth of who you are. So as you reach inward and start to love yourself fully, your emotions begin to just kind of mellow out, and you can find a rhythm in your life. This is part of the chaos that happens. We wake up in the morning and are like, well, That's not what I planned for today. But a lot of it's because we don't have a rhythm, we don't have a routine in our life from which to build. We end up managing projects, not time. And it's the opposite. We manage our time, not projects. You get to choose what to do with that time in your life. You get to say, you know what, right now I need to back off from this so I can have 10 minutes for myself. I can drink a glass of water. I can walk around a bit. I can breathe. So instead of always feeling like you're on edge, you're able to fully embrace each moment's emotions and not let them gain control of you completely. You're working with them because you're aware of them. A large part of self-love is finding inner peace and a way to control these emotions, to work with them that come up to you daily. Everything can start to try your patience or draw you down into a sad place that seems hard to escape if we allow it. And if you notice that happening, go, wow, I just noticed I'm feeling really sad. I wonder what that's about. And again, you notice your breath. You track your energy. Where am I feeling that? So centering and focusing inward, settling your own feelings and emotions first allows you to interact with and be kind to others when they trigger your own thoughts. This is when you go, you know what? This is mine. This is my space. They have their own space. I'm not going to let them invade my space. I can sense their feelings. You know, you can be an empath. In some respects, I consider myself an empath, but that doesn't mean I let their emotions take over mine. Their energy does not invade mine. I can sense it. I can sense that they're sad or angry or upset. But that doesn't mean I have to get that way. I center and focus inward on myself. I'm aware of my feelings and emotions. And then I can be there for someone else if that's what's necessary. I'm first responsible for myself, for my own thoughts and emotions. So, here are 5 steps to love yourself. The challenge is in doing it. It's not like you have 5 days or 5 weeks or whatever. You have whatever. It's 5 steps to love yourself. So, the first one is you make room for healthy habits. Self love is about changing the way you think and feel about yourself, which means maybe tossing out some habits that aren't as supportive to you so you can make room for the good ones. The idea, though, is where you add in new habits that are healthy, that will naturally crowd out the ones that no longer serves you. So start by focusing on what thoughts and feelings tend to kind of clog up your system. Take a long, hard look at what habits might send you into a spiral or on a downward path with the way you think about yourself. The way this happens is you go through your day and you're noticing how you're feeling. When you notice, oh, that didn't feel good, jot down a note. This just happened. I was talking to so and so, and I felt bad about myself. I was sitting here looking at something and I felt bad about myself. So it's just becoming aware of what habits you have and how you feel about them. Because by writing down what you're thinking and feeling, you can see what needs to be removed and what needs to be changed. And all along, it's a choice you make. You choose that this is how I want to feel. These actions, these thoughts, these movements don't bring me there. And you're making room for that. So once you've taken this inventory of all these triggers that you have, whether maybe you have some triggers that you're like, wow, I felt really great when I had that smoothie. So you can start having an inventory of things that help you feel better about yourself versus ones that don't. You know, I ate too late and I just did not feel good. I felt so heavy in my brain. I didn't walk today and I'm just feeling tired. It can take several weeks to get a habit to take root. So don't expect this to change all at once just because you've decided you have room for it now. It takes practice. That's kind of one of the things I don't like about some of the challenges, and I have done quite a few challenges, and I've gained a lot out of some of these challenges, but after the challenge is over, well, then what happens? I don't keep it up. And so this is kind of that root cause. I felt good while I did this challenge. So why didn't I keep it up? And again, it's not condemning or judging. It's just noticing, oh, you know, I felt really good when I was doing those workouts. What happened that I allowed myself to not do that anymore? So we're getting to the root of our habits, of how we live our lives, of the choices we make. And it takes time. It's taken a long time for us to get here. So it's going to take time for us to make those changes. Healthy habits are about more than just the food you eat and the workout plan you decide to take on. All right, I'm going to say that again. Healthy habits are about more than just the food you eat and the workout plan you decide to take on. It can be anything from setting aside time to journal and meditate every day to setting aside time to be with friends on the weekends. Yesterday, my grandson Max spent a lot of time with some of his friends. They went skiing, fishing, and then they went back to this friend's place and they played games. They have this fire pit, and he had just such a great time. And listening to him talk, I was like, wow, we don't do a lot of that here. I think I need to start setting time, whether it be game night or reading time or time on the weekends, to do more with them. It's not that we have to entertain them, but it's spending that time with them because it feels good. So if you're, let's see, did I do this right? Make sure I'm not ahead of myself. Nope. Once. Okay. So if you're having a hard time deciding what kind of habits to start up that will boost your own self-love. These are just some ideas. You have to choose for yourself what has you loving yourself. That's the other thing I see with a lot of challenges or things. They give you the ideas. And you might be going, ugh, I don't really want to do it. Or you might go, I like that one. But the idea is you get to choose. You are your own best expert. I am here to empower you as you make these choices. So something you might want to do is, at least even here, it's starting to warm up a little bit. I mean, we get into the 50s now. So get moving a little bit every day, whether that is going outside, whether that is just moving your arms around. One of the things I like is something called Body Groove. It's just dancing. And they have all sorts of different types of music and you just dance. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You can do that without Body Groove. You can turn the radio or whatever on and just move, dance, have fun. Go outside in the sun. Draw a hard boundary between your work and your home. Create a nighttime routine. Write out a meal plan and prep in advance. Those are just some ideas. Again, what works for you? Maybe it's just making sure you start the day with a glass of water. Little things add up. Maybe choose 2 new habits to incorporate and focus on building them into your daily life during these first 5 steps. Okay, step 2 is love yourself. As I say that, put your hand on your heart and feel, how does that feel there? To have someone say, love yourself. Each person is unique and needs a different kind of love. Finding what makes you feel loved is part of the journey towards true self-love. So while you're journaling, look back over which areas cause you problems, that make you cringe, that make you resistant. And then look at what makes you feel more love internally. Keep a sharp eye out for simple things like words of affirmation, gifts, or just a passing moment that pushes your thoughts and emotions into a more positive place. Your thoughts are never wrong. I don't like saying those are bad thoughts or these are good thoughts. They are your thoughts. They are there. So notice them. Pay attention. How do I feel? So this is where a lot of the simple actions come into play. You might find that indulging in that bubble bath or going outside for a quick walk around the block helps your body and mind feel good and full of self-love. Or you might go, right, I don't even have a bathtub. I don't have the time to walk around the block. But the key thing about loving yourself during this 5-step challenge is to build these moments into every day. You may even set a timer to take a break from your daily activities and just focus on yourself. Some people, and I've done this from time to time, at the top of every hour, I'll set my clock for 10 minutes. And I will go get a drink of water or maybe just walk around or move a little bit. If it's nice out, maybe pop out for a moment. But just breaking up your day will break up the cycle of your bad habits. And this takes discipline. Your timer becomes your tool. Even when it feels like you're really not working on it, or that you're not changing anything actively, the simple fact that you've taken a step back and done something that makes you feel loved, or at least good, is the key to this whole challenge. So, when you find that you feel that self-love is the most deep during certain times, start incorporating more of those moments into your life. It's not like you have to book out months and days of your life to commit to this type of self-love to have it be impactful. Just a few moments, a little bit of time every day can change the way you view your life and your own thoughts and feelings. So to start showing yourself love throughout the day, take time out of your day to just stop and rest. Notice where your breath is. Notice how you feel. The more you do that, then maybe at another time you can write about your day, write about those feelings. You learn more about yourself. So maybe then you start going, you know, I really like that little dancing thing I did. And maybe you start doing that for at least 15 minutes. It becomes your new favorite thing to do. Maybe there's a new hobby you've secretly been wanting to do. You get to start that, but just spend 15 minutes a day doing it. You don't have to stop everything and go, okay, I'm going to knit this Afghan now. Spend 15 minutes a day doing a few knit and purls. The key to implementing these moments into your life and just truly diving into your true self-love is to stay disciplined. And that discipline comes from knowing yourself, from feeling yourself, from wanting to do this. It's not like someone's there cracking a whip. Keep a sharp focus on what you want to do and your overall goal, and make choices that help you reach it. So, step 3, replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Now, remember, I said I don't necessarily believe in negative thoughts or positive thoughts. They're your thoughts. But this is your mind we're talking about, which is this powerful tool. And when you let these thoughts come in that aren't bringing you where you want to go, it's like a virus. They enter and they invade your mind. And they spread everywhere in your brain. And that you end up feeling that in your whole body. They populate your whole space until it's impossible to ignore them and the symptoms they cause. I mean, let's talk about adrenal fatigue, right? Your gut imbalances are so related to this. Your blood sugar is related to this. A thyroid issue could be related to this because you're not speaking, because of the thoughts in your mind. So as these thoughts, these negative thoughts spread, they tear down your self-esteem and get in the way of self-love in your life. If those thoughts are in there, you're not motivated to do these things that felt good when you did them. So instead of letting them run wild, it's time for an antiviral, which are your positive thoughts. So we may have smiled a little bit when we talk about our positive thoughts as an antiviral. And it seems like, really, that's kind of simple. There's actually a process that you can use to swap out those more negative thoughts for the ones that feel truly positive and nurturing and boost your self-esteem. So again, start by making a note every time you encounter that thought that tears you down, that emotion that feels sad and heavy. This can feel like a pain at first to stop your day and make notes of every negative thought, but this can show you exactly what pain points and triggers cause these negative thoughts to pop up. Many of us on here may have pricked our fingers a time or two as we're checking and tracking our blood glucose to see which foods raise our blood sugar too high. This is the same thing. That is a pain, and maybe doing this is a pain, but in the end, you find something else about yourself. So whenever a negative thought comes to mind, start with a positive affirmation to turn it into a positive thought. I mean, there's dozens of different types of positive affirmations you can use, and each one is tailored to the moment in your life. There's also certain affirmations that apply to you with your let's say your sun sign. This is where your astrological signs might have a play in there. And again, I want to say that it's not like we're trying to rip these negative thoughts out of our mind. They are there for a reason. Be aware of them, but do not let them take over. Do not let them keep you from being your true, beautiful, wonderful, loving, compassionate self. So, some of the most powerful positive thoughts and affirmations are simple ones. They target and isolate the negative thought and fight back against the virus by speaking the truth into your life. Negative thoughts are more than they seem and prey on what you feel are weaknesses. The truth speaks to your strength. So here are some simple positive affirmations you can add to your day and incorporate into this 5-step challenge. I love myself for who I am. That used to be very hard for me to say. So, try these out. How do I feel as I say them? I can achieve my goals. I enjoy exercising and moving my body. I am full of light and positivity. These are just some ideas. As you go through the steps and you notice which thoughts trigger you, you get to choose the one that is the antiviral. Choose the affirmations that focus on your own negative thoughts so you can change them to a positive side. Create your own or find some that isolate what your negative feelings are about. And that's the thing. This is about discovering who you are, your own unique self. Step 4 is accepting flaws and seeing them as strengths. One way that your mind tricks you into struggling with self-love is by convincing you that all of the things that happen or don't go right in your life are horrible flaws and are holding you back. Instead of letting them drag you down, the key is to see those same flaws as unique aspects that make you strong. I'm going to say that again. The key is to see those same flaws as unique aspects that make you strong. Every person has flaws and imperfections, but that's what makes you unique. Changing your mind and seeing them as strengths can take some discipline. Your flaws and imperfections can pop up in a myriad of different ways. You might see flaws in the way you interact with friends, the way you go about a meal plan, how much exercise you get. But each of these areas can be a strength. So instead of seeing your meal plan as a flaw, say, well, the strength is in choosing to change my diet. I made the choice to change the foods I'm eating. The first meal plan I did, well, I learned a few things from that. So now I'm going to change it again. I'm making new choices. You might not get out and exercise every day, but when you do, that's a strength. You're making a choice every day. Those are your strengths. You are making choices for your own best and highest good. You are loving yourself. So this is one of those self-love processes that's a day by day, moment by moment struggle. You might encounter several flaws in the span of 10 minutes and have to fight back against each one of them with positive thinking about how they're your strengths. So don't let yourself get overwhelmed. As you see yourself going, wow, I got myself a whole lot of work to do. Great. You're alive. You're here. You've got this moment. What's one thing you want to do? You're making a choice. You're choosing to do one thing. So here are some simple key things you can incorporate into your daily routine, especially while you're doing this 5-step self-love challenge. So you can journal every day as you isolate your flaws and strengths. It's kind of like when we do testing. We do blood labs, stool labs, urine tests. They all take what's going on in your body and isolate the different parts so you can see, oh, that person doesn't have enough magnesium. That person has some candida going on there. We're isolating these things that are not helping you to be totally healthy. It's the same thing with journaling. The more you journal, the more you're able to isolate what's going on in your life, what helps you feel better and what doesn't. You can add that regimen of your positive affirmations. You can focus on your strengths and continue to build them up. You can create an accountability group that boosts your self-esteem. Maybe you have some friends that you want to write to and say, hey, or, if you have people right there in your community, say, you know what, I need to do this and I need you to help me. I need you to check in on me and say, hey, how are you doing? What can I do to help you? Your unique self is full of flaws and contradictions, and the goal is not to erase them, but to change your thinking about those characteristics. Your strength comes from changing your thinking, not erasing parts of yourself in hopes for this ideal self. So, one of the final things you can do during this 5-step self-love challenge, which, as you can see, will probably take you some time. That's okay. You can create a self-love jar. and you fill it with 20 self-love acts that you can do for yourself. Each week you pull one out and you act on it during that week. And this will take your views of self-love and self-esteem into your own hands, and you get to take charge of your life. So this self-love jar can be filled with all your favorite things and some of the hard ones too. Changing up your routine and doing something you're not expecting or that anybody else is expecting of you is powerful. So if you have 20 different options and choose one each week, that gives you something to look forward to. It gives you options for how to handle changing your thoughts about self-love. So adding ideas to your self-love jar should be a labor of love in and of itself. This is not meant to be a chore or one of those, oh, I have to do this. Do it when you want to, when you feel that love for yourself and have excitement. Go, oh, I get to make this. Take time out of your day to write down, decorate, create self-love ideas that match your personality and what you need to achieve real self-love. And these are just some ideas I put on there, but you do what works for you. I have a day to shop and go out in the town. A lazy day at home. Say no to something you don't want to do. Go out to dinner with your friends or just relax on your own. Simple ideas work the best and are easy to bring into your daily routine. So take the time to invest in what helps you focus on true self-love of your own truth, and makes this jar something you enjoy digging into. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about alchemy and herbalism to help in true wellness. Because we have all this stuff we can do, but we have the plants that are there to help and support us at the same time. Because that's part of working on ourselves. So, like I said, this is something I've been studying, and I wanted to share some of what I found with you. Alchemy has been around for centuries, and at its heart, this philosophy is all about unity and seeing that the body, spirit, and soul are ultimately one and cannot be separated. The alchemical paradigm of unity connects the modern scientific, traditional energetic, and spiritual teachings that surround herbal medicine, giving us a well-rounded understanding of people, plants, and nature as a whole. People today are seeking healing that supports their physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And because plants possess chemistry, intelligence, and consciousness, they have the ability to heal us on each of these levels. The alchemical philosophy offers a sophisticated and refined system for finding healing that encompasses each part of your being. So science and spirituality are two sides of the same leaf. The cultural divide between science and spirituality is felt across the globe, and herbalism is no exception. Learning about the alchemical philosophy has played a crucial role in my herbalism practice by teaching me about bridging the gap between these two paradigms. And I think it's an approach that can play a critical role in the future development and refinement of herbal medicine. On one end of the spectrum, some herbalists exclusively rely on the biochemical model, ignoring the energetic and subtle aspects of plants, which cannot always be quantified by science, though it can be clinically at times. I'm gonna mute myself a second. I was practicing a little self-love, saying what I needed. So on one end of the spectrum, like I said, some herbalists exclusively rely on the biochemical model, ignoring the energetic and subtle aspects of plants, which cannot always be quantified by science, though it can be clinically at times. On the other end, some practice primarily from a spiritual perspective, such as flower essence practitioners, who incorporate the spiritual side of plants into their practice. The problem is that there is a lot of knowledge to explore in between these two perspectives. And although many herbalists fall someplace in the middle of them, the divide creates the impression that you need to pick a side. The alchemical philosophy taught me that I don't need to do that. Through seeing the unity between science and spirit, I am able to benefit from both and integrate that information into my practice to become a truly holistic practitioner. I start to see that I understand the science of a plant on a deeper level by engaging with its spirit and vice versa. By embracing this unified perspective, I can integrate all of the different parts of herbal medicine into my practice so that you receive the full spectrum of healing from plant medicine. So for example, if I practiced herbalism exclusively from the scientific approach, I would focus solely on plant chemistry, its bioactive compounds and how they bind to receptors in the body to lead to a physiological and chemical response. Much of how herbs are used for people would be dependent on modern research, double-blind placebo-controlled studies and the like. Honestly, where am I? I just lost my space. Honestly, there are very few herbalists that actually practice this way, as most also incorporate traditional approaches alongside a scientific understanding. Alternatively, if I focused on the traditional approach, I would consider the plant's energetics and how it influences your constitution in terms of temperature, moisture, and tone. I would have a less physiological based understanding of the body and how plants heal and see things more ecologically. In contrast, the spiritual approach, such as working with flower essences, is concerned with how herbs affect the mind and emotions and is strictly vibrational in how it functions. Alchemy provides a holistic lens that enables me to see the dotted lines that connect the different layers of the body with the emotions, mind, and spirit. This approach empowers me as an herbalist to develop a deeper understanding of plant medicine by incorporating both the physical and spiritual attributes of plants. As a result, your herbal medicine, I would suggest, becomes more effective because I am supporting you as a whole person. True wellness goes beyond your physical body. It encompasses your connection to yourself, nature, and the entirety of life. Healing is not just the absence of disease, but a state of wholeness unto itself. When you heal your physical, mental, or emotional patterns, you emerge on the other side in greater harmony with your healthiest self. Alchemy provides you with a holistic approach to achieving health by uniting your physical, psychological, and spiritual aspects with that of the plants. So, for example, Nettle leaf, which you see here, is diuretic from the scientific model, cooling and drying from the traditional perspective, and balances excess patterns of Mars in the spiritual tradition. With the three combined, you receive a much more holistic understanding of how nettles impact your body, mind, and spirit. Just as each person has a core and unique essence, so do plants. When you take herbal medicine, it's not only the biochemical constituents that impact you, but its spirit as well. Its influence touches your body, mind, and soul, leading to a much greater result than just from its biochemical effect alone. Indeed, from the alchemical view of health, the plants are used not just to heal sickness, but to support the evolutionary process of the soul. We are all born here with certain lessons we need to learn in this life in order to grow and be in greater harmony with ourselves and nature. These life lessons or life patterns are understood through the lens of the archetypes of astrology, most notably the 7 planets. By understanding the archetypes you need to understand and learn from the most, I select plants associated with them and work with them spherically to help you integrate those life lessons into your daily life. Herbal medicine is a vast and complex field I can approach from different angles. Traditional, scientific, and spiritual perspectives each have their strengths and limitations, but they all play a role in understanding the healing power of plants. The challenge lies in integrating these perspectives into a cohesive and effective approach to plant medicine. This is where the philosophy and practice of alchemy come in, as it unites seemingly disparate and disconnected pieces and parts into a unified whole. With alchemy, you can appreciate the complex chemistry of plants, the energetics that underpin their actions, and the subtle psycho-spiritual effects they have on your emotions, mental states, and consciousness. By seeing how these different layers work together, I can develop a comprehensive and holistic approach to plant medicine that addresses the whole person by understanding the whole plant. Through cultivating reverence and understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, I can use my insight and knowledge to support your healing and evolution, as well as the healing of the planet as a whole. So, what are the next steps after all of this? So now that you've made it through the five-step self-love challenge, there are so many things you can continue to do to keep the power growing. So instead of continuing to stay isolated, you can join in with the community of others who are seeking that same type of self-love. You can connect, share ideas, and continue to boost each other when times get hard. You might find others in your immediate vicinity or join in with a social media group that's seeking to bring out the best in each other. I know many of you know I have my Sage Wisdom group, but maybe you have your own. And so that's a wrap. And I want to thank you for being here. You can contact me at lynn@feedingyourhealth.com. Like I said, I have a Facebook group, Sage Wisdom. You can reach out and contact me to schedule a free 30-minute call if you're interested in working together. And so now I'm going to stop my share and see if there's any questions. All right. Oh, here. Here you go. Hi, Judy.
Hi there.
Nice to see you here.
Sorry I joined late. But, I got a call from my brother, and that took precedence.
Absolutely. Well, that's self-love, right?
Yeah,
So that's what this is all about, right?
yeah,
It's doing what we need to do to take care of ourselves. So, are there any questions about anything I've said? Do you have any ideas or thoughts on how you see yourself in this 5-step self-love challenge?
I see it as something that's necessary for almost everyone right now.
Yeah.
It started with COVID and then it just went downhill from there, I guess.
Yeah.
It really did. I also think it's very important, no matter what point you are in your life. We women, and this is with women from all over the world, not just in the United States, we tend to give more of ourselves than we have inside of us.
Right.
And many cultures train us to be, and I'm thinking of my culture, Mexico, of course, to be there for everyone, always, all the time, with no excuses. You're just to be there and help everyone. So it's hammered into you from the moment you're born, being,
Yeah.
you know, the little girl. And then it gets to the point.
Right?
It's something I know I have to do, and I've known it for several months. So your email was just like a gift from heaven.
Oh,
It really was, because I've been saying I have to start taking care and I have to stop putting up boundaries right now. Everyone has been taking care of me, so I feel I have to take care of them, but not really.
nice.
And so then you just gave me a lot of information right now.
Yeah.
All these months I've been thinking about how I can get back to taking the herb teas that are also part of my culture in Mexico, from
Right.
a doctor's family, okay? And we take herb teas all the time. But many of them I'm finding out I cannot take with the medicines I am still taking for the heart attack, and it's a pain and a problem.
Right.
I need to, it's almost like if it's my spirit is saying, get back to the hibiscus tea, to the bay tea, to the chamomile, all the teas in the world. And
Well, and is it the best way to take that? You know, some things are best in something water soluble, like a tea infusion. Some are better as tinctures.
that's right, which I
yeah.
don't know anything about. Okay, so
Right? And that's part of some of the work I'm doing in learning more about. So, for example, I was working with somebody who her sun sign was Leo, and Leo was in her 6th house. And your 6th house is your sign of, that's your health. And so I had her work on motherwort because, you know, I mean, cardio, right? That's part of its Latin name.
it's part of it, and you cannot take it with beta blockers, which I'm taking right now.
The motherwort.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I was so excited when I found out about it. So what I have been doing more than anything, I've taken Bach flower remedies for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going through the Bach flower remedies and taking some that I think I need right now. But that's not the only thing that I need. I still keep saying I need some herbs around me.
Right.
I need some teas. I need some whatever is needed.
Right. And that again is we're having that relationship as with the alchemy, right? It's understanding that you're not just taking a biochemical thing. You're not just taking an alternative to a pharmaceutical drug. You're taking You're receiving, just like you are talking about receiving help from people around you. You are asking and receiving help from the plant world.
That's
And
right.
it's Ms. Asked me to repeat my supportive favorite herbs and plants. So I didn't necessarily I talked about nettles, and honestly, nettles is one of my favorites, partly because it blooms so prolifically around here, that and violets, and burdock and dandelions. And yes, I knew my camera had been off while I was doing the presentation, because I wanted people to focus on the slides and not my face. But and then I realized, oh yeah, because my microphone doesn't work on my computer, so I have to use my phone as my phone.
But Lynn, everything that you said about alchemy was fascinating. It really was.
Yeah.
And you started off by saying that there is no separation between spirit and the body, the emotions, the heart. We are all one, and it's exasperating. I was at a doctor's about 2 days ago, and I said, I know you're talking about my thyroid, but there's other things that are mixed up with that too. And I know they affect it. And I know, so can you tell me anything about it? She said, no, it's not my expertise. I cannot talk about that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say and run out like crazy, because you cannot just take one part of the body or one part. No, you can't. You can't.
Right. You're your whole body.
That's right.
And not just your physical body, you're your spiritual body, you're the emotional body, like we're talking about here. And this is one of the things that I see in many health practitioners, is that, you know, they're an expert in whatever. And so they're talking to you, and they're not talking with you.
No.
So my feeling is I have learned a lot of things, and I'm simply sharing what I've learned, but now it's your turn to take what I've given you and say, how does that feel for me?
Yeah.
And because you are your own best expert.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hi, Judy. I hadn't said hello.
Hi.
It's so good to see everybody again.
It is good to see
Yeah,
you again.
been a while.
It's been a while. Yes. So I'm just looking at my notes. So one of the things I said as far as an actual herb was with nettles. I said, alchemy provides you with the holistic approach to achieving health by uniting your physical, psychological, and spiritual aspects with that of the plants. For example, nettle leaf is diuretic from the scientific model, cooling and drying from the traditional perspective, and balances excess patterns of Mars in the spiritual tradition. And so if I know something, if I know what's going on with somebody, and this is going to help them as they learn the truth of themselves, then yeah, I'll say you should do a nettle infusion. So this is one of the reasons I hesitate sometimes in saying everybody should be drinking nettles, because not everybody should. If because it's a diuretic, if you're already dry, you're just going to dry yourself out more. And I don't mean just in terms of your urinary tract, but diuretic in your cellular structure, your tissue state.
Yeah.
So there's some people that and I tend to more of that excess moisture. I would need to have some nettles, but again, knowing that it helps balance that excess pattern of Mars, so that's that heat. That maybe you need it because you find yourself just getting darn angry all the time. preferably
love it.
genitals. So see, that's something. So if you want something that's cooling and drying, I have the wrong book here. So honestly, the first thing that comes to my mind for some reason are cucumbers. Okay.
I've been eating cucumbers a lot. Yes, so yes.
To cool you down. So you can do some cucumber juice. You can make a cucumber salad. And I'm just looking at some of my materials here.
Just the energies of the plants.
Well,
just the energies. Okay.
you know, the more, so, and you may go really bad, but cilantro is a very cooling herb, and it can be drying as well.
It's funny you say that because there's times when I get this yearning to eat a certain something.
Right.
And so I decided I was going to make some cilantro hummus with zucchini, so I could just sit down and eat it all with
Oh yeah.
jicabas, you know, just not make it for just for me to sit down and eat it, which is a nice way. I went through a phase where I could not get enough of parsley and garlic. Parsley and garlic. So I would make this Argentinian sauce where it has a little bit of olive oil and lots of garlic, oregano, and the parsley. And I would just make a pound of parsley and it'd be gone in 2 days. Not very good when you're taking the blood thinner and the garlic, but I didn't care about that at the same time. Yeah.
You know, what can you do to get yourself off of your medication if you start some of these things?
The doctors they got me off the blood thinner, and only because I was getting black and blue marks all over. And the doctor got really concerned about it, the cardiologist. So she took me off the blood thinner and it's fine. I kept telling her for a whole year that I tend to have black and blue marks just because, but well, she found out it was the truth. But I still have high blood pressure, so so they want to keep me on that, and it's a pain. It's a pain. I need to get off the medicines and I need to get out some herbs. So I have to be very careful about it since I am being tested every 3 months right now. And they just sent me, do you know what the kappa lambda ratio for the blood is, Lynn?
The kappa what?
Lambda ratio?
How do you spell that?
It sounds like a fraternity at a college. It has to do with blood.
Kappa, do you mean like the dosha, or?
It's just a marker for something in your blood.
Oh, okay.
I think she's saying the Greek letters kappa and lambda.
It's called kappa lambda, I think.
Okay. And before I forget, I wanted to tell Ms. that another herb could be cleavers. Cleavers it's very cooling and soothing. It reduces heat and inflammation. Let's see. So it's what's called an alterative. So it just brings very gentle movement and cleansing to areas that may have become stuck or stagnant, both physically and energetically. And it is a diuretic, but it's a lymphagogue alterative. So that might be something to consider as well. Do you know if you do okay with cleavers?
Me, no, I've never heard of cleavers.
She had said she wanted to
Yeah.
have some besides nettles. Okay. Give that a shot. Because it can help with both dampness and dryness. Hardness especially. But that is something else, and you can do cleavers as a tea as well. And then I am sorry, Beatrice.
What is cleavers? I've never heard of that herb.
Me either.
Never.
I know that they grow them a lot in the Pacific Northwest. It looks, let me see if I can find a picture of it for you. Okay, here, I'll share my screen so you can see.
Okay, it's confusion.
There we go. So they've got these very leaves, and you know, because they grow in the Pacific Northwest, they like those more damp areas. So that gives you an idea of what that looks like.
Yes.
Let's see here. Oh, well, you know, she said she thought I was going to speak specifically regarding herbs for self-care. And again, the reason why I don't is because self-care is extremely personal, and that is where I prefer to work with somebody as an individual to find out what's going to help them uniquely. And sometimes because it's not a this or that, right? Sometimes we have to do this other work to understand ourselves before we start partaking of the herbs. And that's one of the things I like about my teachers is he's like, sometimes before you start recommending or doing formulations, maybe they need to, you know, check their diet. Are they moving? Are they getting outside? Yeah. Because we are in this mindset that if this is happening, then I need to do this to take it. And again, it's not that I don't want us to, it's the whole well-rounded thing. What can we do first to make sure what we're choosing for our formulation is what we need in that moment? And let's see, there was something. Oh, so, okay. All right, so what was it you guys were saying before I got on the cleaver train?
It's a whole changing your lifestyle.
It is. It really is.
Basically, it's changing your lifestyle.
And you might leave here going, yes, I'm going to do this. And then that works for a little bit, might work even 2 or 3 weeks. But when something comes up and derails you, then you know that you need more work to do to fully commit to yourself. And that this is just the path that we're on. I'm even talking like with Joe Dispenza and all of those people who work in the medical field, they say the same thing. It's a process, it's a journey. So you may do some of this work and go, great, this is what I want to do. And you might do it a week, 3 weeks, even 3 months. And then something might come up to teach you a lesson and say, oh, I need to shift and do something different now. The piece that's really important, though, is being committed to yourself, that it's okay to take care of yourself, to love yourself. So, like I said, there were lots and lots of things going on in my life. This last 1.5 to 2 years has been a great teacher. And
You say it so nicely, Lynn.
well, that's one of the things I've learned is that, okay, these things have happened. Thanks for being here, Ms. And I hope we see you again soon. So if this is like the key thing that's most important here is you knowing yourself, liking yourself, loving yourself enough to do this, to recognize, oh, this isn't working anymore. Time to pivot and shift and do something different. If you find
Yeah.
yourself thrown off the rails, okay, why? Why is it happening? So that's why I wanted to do this specifically, so that, if people are looking at making any life changes, that they understand this about themselves. So
Everything you said was very important. It was really very good.
great.
And it's things that it's not that I can use them. I think it's more that I need to use them.
Right. And that's really important, that, oh, this is all lovely and nice for somebody else. No, this is important for each and every one of us, especially in these crazy times. There's so much chaos that we all need to ground ourselves, to integrate that love into our own body, to recognize that's who we are, so that nothing else can shake us from that core.
That's right.
So
That's right.
One interesting thing of self-love is snuggling with the cat. I was amused to see you with your cat, Beatrice.
Every time I have a meditation class or Renaissance, for years, I have 2 cats. Shempa, my little female cat, she's my little healer, always comes and sits here.
nice.
She also usually moons the computer, so I'm glad she didn't do it this time. But she is always around. She's around, jumping around the furniture and everything, and she'll come back and jump on top of me again.
I miss having a cat, but I'm not ready to take on that responsibility right now.
It is a responsibility, but
Yeah.
cats are healers, so it's nice to have them.
But then I have a whole lot of healing happening around here.
You
have
have a lot of cats.
12 adult cats, and 3 of them just had babies. So now we have 30 cats.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot of cat energy there.
What people, if people want them.
Lynn, you say something that's very true, that you have to go outside. You have to go outside. The porch in Florida is called very elegantly the Florida room. It's every house has a Florida room. It's a porch, okay? And the porches here make you feel like you're in cages because they're really surrounded by screens because of all the mosquitoes we have.
Yeah.
And actually, they're very nice. When I go out into the porch of my house, and I'm surrounded by trees and weeds, a lot of weeds, because we have a son who's an ecologist who asked us not to touch the backyard and just let it grow.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely fantastic. And the thing is, you go out and the energies that you get. So if I go outside and, get on in the sun, not inside my porch, but go out amongst those trees and sit down there for a while, it gives you life. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It is absolutely incredible to be out with the plants. Now, I have a lot of ferns. Well, I had 2 ferns and they've grown and they've spread out. The interesting thing is that when I don't want them to go someplace, I tell them. I actually talk to the ferns and tell them that I need them not to go past a certain point, and they don't.
Yeah.
They grow someplace else. But ferns in Latin America are considered to be very spiritually protective plants. Spiritually, they will protect you. They will not let anything negative come towards you.
We need more.
It's we need more than you can get. In fact, I went out and gave them permission to start growing a certain way because I said, not before, but now I need it around here. It'll look very nice. And they are starting to spread out the way I asked them to. But plants have a lot of powers, like Lynn was saying, and powers we don't even know. So yes, when I go outside in my backyard, I have nothing but trees, pine trees, and ferns, and some weeds that are growing that my son tells me that some of those weeds, he said, have been in Florida for hundreds of years, and they're very difficult to find nowadays.
Oh.
Because they're not particularly beautiful. I think they're beautiful. They're green as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's what we have. Now, pine
Yeah.
trees, when I found out that pine bark or pine needle tree was very good for you, I had to ask about the trees that I have, and the trees that I have are not the ones that you can drink, okay?
Okay.
So I have all those trees. They're also very protective.
Yeah.
I also found out that in Europe, always, the saying knock on wood comes from knocking on trees. Every tree has a spirit.
Yeah.
And it will protect you or talk to you in certain ways. So when you have questions, you knock 3 times on the tree, waking up its spirit.
Ah.
Then you tell it what you want, and eventually the tree will answer. You have to sit down and pay attention, of course.
Yeah. Very cool.
I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
And I found that. So that's it. Let me go to the doctor tomorrow and I'll finally make an appointment to see you, Lynn.
Okay.
I said, this is the last one.
Last one. Everybody just wants to take care of you. And so now your job is to receive it, right?
My job is to receive it. Actually, it's been very nice. And I'm lucky to have friends that come and visit. Because it is wonderful. But let me tell you, I don't know if I told you this, and if I did, tell me off and I'll cut you off quickly. When I had the heart attack and I was in the hospital, first I fainted and hit my face against the cement in the sidewalk. But there's a silver lining to that. Okay. For a year, a doctor had told me I couldn't breathe well. I couldn't laugh. I had trouble talking because I had a deviated septum. Okay. And I had sinus infection on one side, on this side. And he kept saying, we have to do the surgery, but not until this COVID thing is over, because I don't want you in the hospital right now. Well, I fell down and I broke 2 bones in my face. One of them was inside. It didn't break on the outside, right here under my eye. The other one was in my nose. About 2 months later, I was talking to the doctor and I said, do you have oxygen in your office? Because I can breathe so well. He asked me, this was another doctor, not my other doctor, the doctor who was looking at my broken bones in my face, and got in touch with the otorrinolaryngólogo in Spanish, whatever it is, got the x-rays and said, when you fell down, when you fainted, and you broke the bones in your face, you fixed the deviated septum, so you don't need the surgery anymore. Okay, so that was a good thing that happened. because I never needed that surgery, which I really did not want to have. I never had to have surgery on the bones right here because it healed. Of course, for 6 weeks, I couldn't look down. But the bones here, I still have a cut here and a black and blue mark that the doctor said was just never going to go away over the broken bones. But my deviated septum is okay, so now I can breathe and I can laugh. And when I was in the emergency room, the cardiologist kept sending back to the lab the test that they had done and kept saying, you made a mistake. I need the test for this lady. Finally, the technician came down and I was in and out of it. So I only heard a little bit, but she told me the story afterwards and said, I'm very sorry. We've tested her already 4 times and it comes out like this. And she said, these tests are of a healthy person. So I don't know what it is. They sent me to surgery to put a stent in my heart because I was having a heart attack, but I never felt it. And the surgeon finally called the cardiologist and said, you have to come in before I wake her up because I've been checking her whole body for an hour and a half. And I see no reason to put in a stent because she only has 3 to 5 very small blood clots.
Oh.
Months later, and I don't know how you feel about this, and I don't mean to insult anyone, and you don't have to believe me. But one of the doctors that I was seeing said the problem with that heart attack was caused by the COVID vaccine.
Sorry,
That you had 30 days before you had the heart attack. Exactly, 30 days before. So that's what happened.
You know, and everybody reacts differently to these things. So I choose not to.
Lynn, I didn't want it. The only reason I took it was because my son was afraid. My son's children, his sons, were seeing their friends, which no one was supposed to at that time. He was afraid that they would give us COVID. They thought that they would give us.
Your whole glass bowl broke. So you brought to potluck.
Shoot. Okay, I'm finishing teaching a class.
It's over the floor.
Okay, I'll be there in a minute. All right.
Sorry about that. Tell them I said sorry.
No, they're fine.
They're fine. So that's why I had the vaccine. Much against my logic and my intelligence saying not to take it, I was not going to see the boys because my son was really concerned that he might bring it over because he was not keeping his sons away from their friends. And so the cardiologist kept saying, I know healthy people don't like medicines, but I need you to take them. Of course, that's part of the protection that she had. So then I asked spiritually if they could tell me what was going on. And I got, because I do these meditations that my Tibetan teacher taught me about talking with several parts of your body, whatever you need to. And so I sat my heart down. Now, when I meditated with my heart had beautiful big green eyes and long eyelashes because I don't have green eyes and long eyelashes. Okay. But you ask your body what it needs sometimes, and it will tell you, and it's very interesting what they say.
Yep.
In parts of the body. It's very interesting.
Totally agree.
And so this is a heart attack in a healthy body and taking medicines that I still think I don't need and wanting to take herbs and
yeah.
So
Well,
so I need
you
to
know, if you can figure out a way to wean yourself off one and take others.
Oh, I stopped taking the statin on my own.
Okay.
I just stopped it. When she said, I don't need to see you again. I'll
Okay.
see you in 1 year. And that's when
Okay.
she said, stop taking it. I stopped the statin. So I'm
Okay.
taking the beta blocker and another medicine that'll protect it helps with the blood pressure, but protects the kidneys. The side effect that I have of that heart attack when the state here is high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to
Well-
deal with that.
getting back into this rhythm of being with yourself and your breathing and meditation like you're so good at can help
Yes.
with that. Right?
That, yes. And the doctor told me, surprisingly so, she said, she asked me what I did. Waiting for the results of the test to come back. And I said, I'm a meditation instructor. She said, meditation is the best thing you can do for a heart attack.
Yep.
So she said,
Good to hear that.
she said, when the doctors in my office are talking about starting a meditation class, would you like to do it? And I said, I'd love to, especially with heart patients.
Yeah.
So I was meditating at night one day in the hospital, and all of a sudden, all the alarms in the world go off. Because when you meditate, your breathing goes down and your blood pressure goes down also. I scared the nurses off like crazy.
Oh, that's not a bad thing. Rather have it go
No,
down
but I
than
had to
up.
promise that I would not meditate while I was hooked up to all those machines. Because that's what set up. I was meditating with, I had, wires everywhere. Wires everywhere. And I said, I'm very happy. This proved scientifically for me that meditation really does bring your blood pressure down.
Yep.
And breathing. And they kept saying, you're only breathing 3 times a minute. And I said, that much? I thought it was maybe twice a minute. And the doctor had to talk to the nurses and say, no, she was not sick. She was meditating. And I'm very happy to hear that. So yes, meditation helps everyone. So I'll let you go now, Lynn, but I'm going to call you, okay?
Yeah.
I will be
No
in
problem.
touch with you.
Yeah. How are you doing, Judy?
I'm doing okay. I'm pretty low energy. I'm still walking with a walker. A lot of that, I think, is because I bend forward. I'm not as straight up as I should be. I'm kind of,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and so I'm walking with the walker, and I don't know how to fix that because I'm leaning on it. I was leaning on the cane before last year when I had my big fall and started this whole mess with the walker, which is almost exactly a year ago. Like it was the 1st or 2nd of May.
Mm.
And I had the fall and couldn't get myself up and had to call the paramedics, and they took me off to the
I do
hospital.
remember that.
Yeah.
Judy, do you walk outside with a walker?
Some, not too much, but a little bit.
I'm going to give you a tip that I used when I had my surgeries and had to use a walker.
Yeah.
I asked my husband to get me one of those flags that kids put on bicycles. And I put it on
Flag?
the walker.
Flag.
Well, actually, I had 2. I put it on the walker
Yeah.
with duct tape,
Yeah.
and I would go out and walk. Where I was living, there were no sidewalks, so I had to walk in the streets. But people can see you from far away with those 2 flags.
I had sidewalks, but they'll be going along, and then there'll be the cut
Uneven.
for the driveway, and then it'll straighten out again. And there's occasional uneven where there's a tree or something. It's not ideal, but
if you have to, even wherever, try that, because people can see you. They can
yeah,
see you.
I can be pretty much on sidewalk everywhere though. There's sidewalks all around my neighborhood.
That's good. You're lucky. I'll have to go now, so I'll say goodbye. It's
Okay.
nice seeing you, Lynn,
Yeah.
and Judy. It's really nice seeing you again.
Yeah.
Take
It
care
is-
of yourself.
Okay.
Good.
Lynn, we'll be in touch.
All right.
Okay.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get back to